Hey y'all, today we're going to talk about the angles and arcs formed by two chords inside of a circle. So when we talked about central and inscribed angle, kind of what a chord is, but I wanted to point that out again. A chord is a segment inside of a circle, and that segment has endpoints that are on the circle. Oh, probably can't see that. Just like that chord right there. It doesn't always have to go through the center. If it goes through the center of the circle, we call that chord a diameter. And so if we have two chords that intersect inside of a circle, what we end up having is four arcs created. So the one I have in green, the one I have in purple here, and then the two other ones. And we also inside here have four angles created. And you should sort of recognize that we have vertical angles here. So this angle and this angle are the same, and then these other two angles are the same. And so a relationship exists between the angles formed in the arcs. And it's this relationship down here, 2 times the measure of the angle is equal to the sum of the two arcs. And so when we talk about the angle and the two arcs, they have to be the appropriate ones. And so I like to go over my circle. I highlight those segments and then those two arcs, and it makes sort of a bow tie. So it's sort of a awkwardly tied bow tie. And so the arcs in that bow tie are the ones we're going to use, and the angles inside that bow tie are the ones we're going to use. These two angles should be the same, so it doesn't matter which one you get. So that'll all make more sense when we do an example. So this one over here, I have an angle, question mark, and I have two arcs, 50 and 200. And let me show you the bow tie. I go over the two chords. I have this really awkwardly made bow tie. My angle that I am looking for is inside of it, and the arcs that I know are part of the bow tie, so I can use those to find out question mark. So I'm always going to write the equation. This 1 and this 2, those are just labels to name the arcs. I'll plug in what I know, and I'll solve. I'll plug in question mark for the angle, 250 for the arcs, and I can find out that that angle is 125. So I can do the same thing here. I have the angle and the two arcs that will be part of the bow tie. I'm going to write my equation every time, and this way I'll remember it. Question mark goes in for the angle. 144 and 54 go in for the arcs. I solve that equation to find out that that angle is 99 degrees. So again, I just wanted to point out that this angle question mark that we found is 99 degrees, and that means that this angle over here, vertical to it, is also 99 degrees. And then that angle would be supplementary to one of those. So I mentioned before, we see vertical angles and linear pairs all the time, and they exist still in these pictures. So I want you to pause here, and I want you to try these two on your own, then press play, and I'll show you the answers. So for the first one, you should get the angle to be 88 degrees. And for the second one, you should get it to be 56 degrees. So check your work. Make sure you didn't put a number in the wrong spot and you solved correctly. The other way we might see these is if we know the angle, we know one of the arcs, and we want to find one of the missing arcs. So you can see question mark here is one of the arcs that I need to know. So I'm going to start always by writing the relationship, the equation, the formula. This time I know the angle, so I'll plug 90 in there. I like to put question mark in for arc 1 because it looks more like the equations you've solved for many years. And then I'll put 130 in for arc 2. So we're used to seeing the variable before any sort of constant, and so if you plug question mark in for the first arc, then it'll look might look neater to you. And so we can just solve, and we can find out that that arc is 50 degrees. Same thing here. Again, I'm solving for one of the arcs, and so I'm going to write the formula. I'm going to plug question mark in for arc 1. You could plug it in for arc 2, but it looks nicer, I think, typically if we plug it in for arc 1. 105 for my angle, 155 for arc 2, and now I'm just solving this equation to get that arc to be 55 degrees. So I want you to go ahead and try these two. Let me make them a little bigger for you. Just like the ones we just did. Press pause, answer these two questions, then press play, and check your answers. So for the first one, you should find the arc to be 180 degrees. And for the second one, you should find the arc to be 135 degrees. Again, check your work. You should be showing your work every time so you can see if you've made a mistake somewhere if you don't get the same answer as I do. So I have two questions for you to do today. So I'll let you try this question first. Press pause, try this question, then press play, and the other question will pop up. Make sure if you have any questions, you ask in class.